Hello, welcome back to Random Rants of the Plaid Guy. Currently taking place in my room. Long story about that. But, sorry again for the week delay. I was too emotionally drained from Avengers. By the way, we're going to be talking about Avengers, so, spoiler alert! Things are about to get crazy. Now, the Avengers, the history of the Avengers in the movie business is a long history that I want to explore real quick. So, back in the 90s, Marvel was having wanted a pretty strong media sense, and they wanted to get expanded into big budgeted movies. They knew the comics would sell very well. Problem was budget. In order to get some of the special effects, it was going to be a lot of money. So they started with small, minor projects that could be done cheaper than a big budgeted project. This is why we got that really weird Spider-Man series back in the 70s where he walks along, and I'm not kidding you, can see the pulley that brings him up a building. Eventually, the 90s came around. Now, in the 90s, Marvel had better success. They were able to license X-Men and Spider-Man and make big shows out of both of them. The problem was Marvel attempted back in the 80s to make a Spider-Man movie, which, that's a whole other episode, involved James Cameron writing a script with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dr. Octopus, and I had to do a whole episode. It's just a travesty. Eventually, there's a rights issue between MGM and Columbia for the rights, and then 20th Century Fox joined in. Eventually, 20th Century Fox got the rights to the X-Men movies and started producing them. Then Marvel had an idea. What if they created their own little studio to compete with the big studios and just sign distribution deals with the big studios, giving them a cut of the profits? Sounds great. So, they eventually in 2008 established Marvel Studios. However, they had already by this point licensed both the X-Men and Spider-Man with Fox and Columbia respectively. However, this led into a huge rights fiasco that we all know and love today. But it was eventually the entire plan over 10 years ago that Marvel would produce and distribute its own studio. They eventually settled on a deal with Disney where Disney would buy them out, thereby giving Disney access to their library for their theme parks and merchandise, which is what we know today, and that's a whole other story. Let's talk about Infinity War. So, spoiler alert. Wow. That's literally all I can say. I haven't been that emotionally devastated by an event since Donald Trump was elected in 2016. Just friggin' wow. There is so much to unpack. I might need to do this in another episode. I'm trying to put a second episode up this week. I have a lot of free time coming up. But there's a lot we need to unpackage with just this. Story-wise, it's great. It's busy, but it has its moments. It knows its beats. I don't know what magic formula Kevin Feige, who's the chairman of Marvel Studios, uses, but good God, it's like the equation to immortality of how to create good movies. Now, like I said in my Black Panther review, it felt a little structured, like they were hitting bullet points. However, Infinity War felt like they were doing that, but also trying to let the characters do something different. And every interaction in this movie is spot on and perfect and requires multiple viewings. Now, the only thing bad I would say about it was that it gets a little too busy. I'm still trying to reel my head from what happened from beginning to end. I actually saw it on opening night, which was a really great experience because we had people shouting and cheering and laughing. There were parts I couldn't hear the movie over the audience. But overall, it's a good movie. I will tell you to go see it. But let's nitpick some other bits. Peter Dinklage's cameo just was weird. Wasn't weird for the factor of I didn't think he should do it. It was just like, oh shit, that's Peter Dinklage. Wow. Damn. I really liked it, and I liked that cameo. A lot of the deaths in there and a lot of the quiet moments were the ones that really stood out to me. Gamora's death when she's thrown off the ledge by Thanos. Red Skull showing up for, like, oh, hi, that's what you've been doing all this time. I was wondering ever since Captain America Winter Soldier, when he disappeared in the Cosmic Cube, of what would happen to him. I was expecting that he'd come in some Captain America movie and fight him again, like in the Winter Soldier. But that just didn't happen, and seeing him again, it was like, oh, and then it was like, but I do feel like there's a wasted opportunity for a really good revenge match, which unfortunately we're not going to get because apparently Chris Evans is not renewing his contract with Marvel and wants to leave. Um, the other things I thought were really great about this movie, Josh Brolin gave a great performance. It's really hard, as I've noticed, to really give depth to special effects. I will say this, that the movie is very special effects heavy and does try to balance the special effects with the character development, which is extremely hard if you haven't worked in the movie business. I haven't, but from what I've read, like, it's extremely difficult to be like, see this? This represents a dragon. Ah. But I cannot give it nothing but praise. I will say that I felt like it was too busy. And I don't remember why Thanos was popping up in different places. I know he was trying to find the Infinity Stone. But, like, I don't remember where he was going. Honestly. And it felt like the movie could have used a bit more quietness. And I feel like some of the characters, like the Squidward guy, I don't remember what his name was. Like, see, characters appear and reappear if you don't know the movies so quickly. You don't even remember their names and you don't even bother. As far as should you go see it? You should definitely go see this movie, especially if you're a big Marvel fan. This is your movie. I will say though that, and this is one of the things I'm very afraid of, it's not accessible for first timers. This is your first Marvel movie, you're not going to like it. You're not going to understand what's going on. You're not going to understand anything. You're not going to understand the character interactions. You're not going to understand half the jokes. And the really big thing I'm worried about is with comic books. I used to read comics. In fact, you can see over here I've got some. I'm really very, very worried for when what happens is where movies become a comics where you have to read Q to understand A. If you don't know, every flipping summer in the comic book industry, there's a big main event, something's going to happen, and they're kind of lackluster, to be honest. And not every weekend, every single year, they pump out a big crossover event like Secret Wars or Age of Ultron. I don't remember what they are now anymore. When I was reading them, they were Civil War, the original one, which was really good. But some of the endings are pretty much a big letdown. And then it just builds up for the next one. There's no lesson learned about anything. And I know that's a big criticism of the Marvel movies, that they blow up half a city, but everything's still fine. Like, nobody learns their lesson. And I know James Cameron had a quote where he said he hopes that people start getting Avengers fatigue after this movie and we start having original stories made. Which I do agree with him on, to an extent. The thing is Kevin Feige has been able to just pound out hit after hit, and Marvel better buy him a damn boat. Because he's been pumping it out for this company. And I'm really afraid for the moment when Kevin Feige decides to step down as chairman of Marvel Studios. That will not be soon. Disney will keep him there probably, and hopefully until the day he dies. But, because why would you leave a big position like that, especially when you're at one of the pinnacle moments in the movie industry? But, I'm really hoping that we do get some original movies. And I'm hoping that after this, we don't get fatigue where we get crossover events every 10 years, because we are going to get tired of them. And I'm hoping that Kevin Feige realizes that and doesn't wear us out on characters. So far, the Marvel movies have been beautifully shot, beautifully orchestrated, and there's been some really great moments. Like, one of my favorites was in Spider-Man Homecoming, And it was one of the few oh shit moments that I've had in modern cinema. People try to do suspense and they don't come off well because I feel like in a lot of movies, directors don't understand the timing. It's like a good song. You have to understand the timing in order to hit that right note. Spider-Man Homecoming gave me an oh shit moment when Peter got in the car with his date and he realized it was the Vulture's daughter. That was a great oh shit moment, and it wasn't like quick. It was they were holding on, and that was a great oh shit moment that did not make me want to leave. I feel like there needs to be more movies like that, and it's especially surprising to see it in a superhero movie where studios really are just about paint by numbers, get it in, get it out kind of thing. So far, the format seems to have worked for Marvel. I'm just worried for the post effects. Now, let's also talk about the big everybody freaking dies. Ugh. So I was writing and I was talking to my friends, and I'm like, well, certain characters have to be saved because they have movies coming out, or they just started, like Black Panther just started his first movie. So he's safe, and then for him to die, and for Tom Holland to die, that was the one that emotionally upset me. In fact, my girlfriend was sitting next to me, and she just bawled at that point. But, as far as what I think they're going to do, I have a feeling they're going to use the time stone to go back in time and save everybody, which I'm hoping they're going to do. But there's going to be some sacrifice made along the way. Because apparently Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth, there are way too many Chris's in these movies, they are talking about stepping down. Now, another thing you have to realize in comics going on, not so much right now, but beforehand, Marvel was introducing a lot of minority characters into the main Marvel universe. Thor became a woman after Jean Forrester, who was Thor's wife, I believe, took over the mantle of Thor while he was gone. And then we had a Pakistani Muslim woman become Miss Marvel, which was another comic book hero from like the 60s. There was that. Miles Morales, who was a black Hispanic teen, became Spider-Man. Marvel was trying to do something different in that they were trying to create more native characters to get more people to read comics, as well as, I feel like, to create a plan for when these main actors step down, what they can do to revive the franchises. Because you have to understand, the clock has been ticking to the point where this is going to end, and they better damn well have, like, a next follow-up act. So, in conclusion, Infinity War was great. I'm worried about the future, not just for the characters, because we're going to get our favorite characters back. I'm worried about what this is going to do with the Marvel franchise as a whole. Should you go see Infinity War? Hell yes. I'm not sure about YouTube's cursing policy with videos, so if this gets taken down, I'll make another one where I don't curse as much. Apologies for the setup. I'm not in my usual place with the boat behind me due to the factor of my roommate was doing work and I don't want to disturb her. So this is why we're here in my room, which you can see is my little nerd cave. We've got the TARDIS up there and Buzz Lightyear is guarding it. So that's cool. Anyway, go see the movie, like, share, comment. I'm going to try to get another episode up this week. I'm going to have a ton of free time. So I'm going to try to get another episode this week. Again, I apologize for the second week of no videos. This is why I wanted to get this video out today to get it up. That's why I'm going to try to pump out another video. So we're going to go back to one video a week. Maybe two if I can squeeze one out. Because if you guys like me being here, I'll be here. Other than that, this is the Plaid guy saying, I didn't choose the Plaid life. Plaid life chose me. Nothing. Find my remote. There it is.